Hey, welcome everybody. This is Daniel Diaz, Executive Director of Citizens for Sound Money, and your host for Sound Money Matters. We have a great guest today, or this evening. We're going to be talking about asset-backed digital currencies again, and decentralized asset-backed digital currencies, a new company that is going to be launching in just a few days. We have the CTO, and I believe he is one of the founders and CTO of this company. It's called Finance.Gold, and also PhiPay, two different companies. We'll get into that in a minute. But without any further ado, I want to introduce you to our guest, Steven Hernandez. What's up, Steven? How you doing?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for coming on. And it's exciting, man. You're launching on the 24th, and today it's premiering on the 21st, Friday. So just a few days. I know you're going to be hammering out and making sure everything's running before, and I think we're going to be doing a demo later on in the show. But I'm excited to have you on to talk about gold and silver, digital gold and silver. We at Citizens for Sound Money try to bring the physical and the digital together because the future is digital. The future is real world assets, and you got some cutting edge technology, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this interview.
Awesome. Me too. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. So our late founder Jim Forsyth, he always started his interviews with two questions, and the first one is, why is sound money important?
Yeah, I mean, sound money and real money we use kind of interchangeably in our company. Our company was founded on the idea that real money is freedom. And when we say real money, we mean things like it's permissionless, it's sovereign, maybe it's also scarce or predictably or mathematically secured. It's apolitical, like you shouldn't have to be a particular alignment to use it. So real money falls into that category. And then the the freedom aspect of it is a couple of different things. So you have freedom from inflationary debasement, you have freedom from censorship, freedom from confiscation, and the freedom to transact globally with anyone 24/7 without intermediaries, the freedom to participate in a financial system without asking for permission, and freedom to build new systems on top of that to make it better. So it kind of allows the invisible hand to do its work. So we believe that real money is the key to freedom, not just financially, but just also because money is kind of the storage of all creative activities. Without freedom in your money, you are not truly free. So very, very important for being a free sovereign citizen in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit on something there that I usually talk about. Money, gold and silver, is the best store of your economic energy. And you were saying creative energy, right? Like I want to write a book
Mm,
about this economic theory on how there's three areas where you can store your economic energy. There's your normal wage, where you're doing labor, you're using your intellect to create products or creative art, and you can store your economic energy in a wage, right? That will be gold and silver. Then you can store your economic energy with a belief or an idea. Ideas can change the world, right? One third of the world was communist at one point. Jesus Christ changed the world, and it's number one religion. So you can store your energy in
mm.
an idea or a philosophy that can literally change the world. And then the third is you can store your economic energy in heaven, right? You store your treasures in heaven, where you have spiritual, you have monks, you have priests, you have pastors, you have individual people who are dedicated to praying, and you can store your energy in heaven. So you can store it in ideas, you can store it in wages, or you can store it into the next life. So and that's true even with art, right? You're creating art, but you're creating that art either just to enjoy that. It's an idea, but it can also create a wage. So there's interconnectedness between your economic energy and the wage. And of course, Citizens for Money, we believe the best form and the only form of money is gold and silver. Um, but before we get deeper into any philosophical, economic, or ideological ideas, tell people about you. Where did you come from? How did you come up with this idea of finance and PhiPay and decentralized gold and silver and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background, I'm a software engineer. I'm a technical director for some DoD projects that are focused on basically digitizing old processes and making capabilities, rapid delivery of capabilities, a thing in the Space Force. I Previous to that, in 2015, I had gotten involved in the crypto space because I was very interested in this concept of smart contracts that Ethereum was touting. Really wanted to be able to participate in that, so kind of went down the self-taught route for coding, um, and started developing smart contracts. Went through a coding boot camp at one point, and then started developing smart contracts for a decentralized finance platform back in 2017. So been around the block a little bit, been through a couple of waves and seen a lot of things, and I've come to the conclusion that it's always better to build than to hold. You know, the motto is hodl, but
Yeah,
I always say biddle, don't huddle. Um, Sounds
I
like
like
gibberish
that.
unless you know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great, man. And you got into crypto before I did. I got in deep in 2020, became a crypto miner, blockchain consultant, had my own business by January 2021, mining already. And I realized that blockchain technology and decentralized finance could provide at the time, and I still believe it, more political, economic, and personal liberty than any political activity of man. It basically opts you out of the system. And it's very powerful. Before I knew about real sound money, I thought I knew sound money through the blockchain crypto. They talk about super sound money, or whatever they call Ethereum. I think hyper sound money or something like that. There's one digital side of sound money because it opts you out of fiat, right? It's people's choosing, quote unquote, money. But then when I learned about gold and silver, which is really money, right? There's only two forms of it. It's been money for over 5,000 years. I was able to bridge the gap between blockchain technology and real world assets. Sorry, my cat is getting my attention over here. And for me, it was like bringing what I found was freedom and liberty, and bringing real freedom and liberty, which is gold and silver, because we believe that gold is freedom and silver is freedom. And when you bring the two together, the power of decentralized finance and the ability to make yields using liquidity pools or whatever the different systems or mechanisms you can put together, because dude, it's limitless. Obviously, there's limits to real money, but I'm talking about the yields. It's all within fees and trading and being able to generate more revenue through these different yields with gold and silver, but on the blockchain.
Mhm.
Um, so I think it's fascinating that the world, and if people aren't really paying attention, they're hearing this for the first time. The world's going to be digital. It's going to be real world assets backing whatever system or currency after the fiat dollar and the fiat economy cease to exist, or it transitions. Right, nothing collapses. It's just a transition. Right, when
Mhm.
Britain stopped being the number one currency, the dollar took over. Prior to that, it was the Spanish milled dollar and silver, and before that was the Dutch, and then you just go back and back and back. It isn't that you have a complete collapse of a system; it's just something else takes its place, and the free invisible hand of the free market is very efficient of adapting to whatever comes its way. So let's get into your company. Let's talk about Finance.Gold first,
Yeah,
and
yeah. It feels like you teed me up perfectly, because when you're talking about the marriage between blockchain and real world assets like gold and silver, that was really the founding idea behind all of this. Is that we believe that gold is real, true money, gold and silver, but it's limited to localized transactions. So you have to be physically in place in order to do a transaction. So all of the e-commerce world, all of the Amazons of the world are no longer a part of the equation, if all you have are physical assets that you have to transfer between individuals. So by putting the blockchain together with that, you open up tons of possibilities. So the Finance.Gold in particular is the effort to marry those two concepts together and have a basically a stablecoin or a title of ownership to an underlying real world asset. So we store our gold in vaults. We are typically at the moment we're only storing American gold eagles, 1 ounce and 1/10 ounces. And the idea is we have these audit reports that are generated by the third-party service that we use to either mint or burn tokens that exist on on the blockchain. We're using Polygon at the moment, but we're going to expand to others after the fact, after the launch, and based on user demand and like where the user is. But the concept is we want people to be able to really truly redeem the underlying asset. So one a PhiGold token is worth $1 in essence, because if you look at the face value of a 1 ounce gold eagle, it says $50. So we've divided that up. So one PhiGold or 50 PhiGold is the equivalent of one American Eagle gold dollar or gold coin, the 1 ounce. So the idea is we want you to be able to redeem that. So if you burn 50 tokens in the redemption process, you would receive one full, U.S. mint gold eagle.
Yeah.
And that I feel like is something that is very powerful as a tool of like understanding. Because if you look at like what 25 cents could buy when there was a gold standard, 25 cents in gold would get you into a movie theater. Well, if you translate the value of 25 cents to today's value in fiat currency, you would see that it's around like $20, which is how much it costs to go to the movies. So we're
Right.
kind of restabilizing what the price is across the board by having it bound to this thing like a gold dollar. So I think that's hopefully something that mainstream can eventually wrap their minds around. If not, they'll get it eventually when they see the power of having your money, having your value stored in real money rather than something that's losing its value over time. Hopefully that'll catch on. That's the vision. That's what we expect will happen over time. And I think that partnerships with people like yourselves, Citizens for Sound Money, and other organizations that are really pushing this idea forward, that this will eventually become at least niche and then eventually hopefully mainstream. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So $1 is 1/50 of the troy ounce. So $10 is a tenth. Oh no,
$5 gold.
$5 is a tenth of an ounce. A quarter ounce is $12.50. A half ounce is $25, and then a full ounce is $50. I put gold dollar as you were talking. I spelled dollar wrong earlier. People probably caught it. I just changed it.
Yeah.
But no, and there's a reason for that. It's because the gold dollar, which is one of the 5 constitutional dollars. So we have $5 in the United States. The Treasury manages 5 different dollars. You have the gold dollar, which is gold eagles and gold buffaloes, 1/50th of the troy ounce. You have the silver dollar, which is an American silver eagle. You have the palladium dollar, which is 1/50th, I believe. Same thing with the platinum dollar, which I think is 1/100th. I think the platinum dollar might be 100. I have to double check. It might be 50. And then the last dollar that the U.S. Treasury manages is the Federal Reserve note, base dollar. So we have $5, and it's the Treasury's responsibility to keep the equal purchasing power of all dollars. They've done a horrible job of doing that.
I know. Yeah, it's a lot of work apparently.
Yeah. When you can print fake dollars, monopoly money into it, and pass it off as full purchasing power when they print it, and then steal the wealth of the people. That's one heck of a bargain. That's why the bankers love it. That's why the government loves it. So that's one thing that we take issue with the City for Sound Money. It's just we don't want to destroy the system. We want to give people the option to choose whether they want to put their economic energy in real money that stores their economic energy, or they put it in the base dollar in the Federal Reserve note, which was designed to steal their economic energy, steal their time, because time is money. Literally, the
Mhm.
money that we have in gold and silver, that we put in currency, we're putting our time and energy and effort into it. And one is created, I believe, by God, or just created through the universe, and it's finite and it preserves. It's very difficult to get more gold and silver out of the earth. The other one was designed by the creators, the bankers. Really, if you go all the way back, Karl Marx really pushed the whole idea of fiat currency and central banks, and a way to confiscate the wealth of the people. It was designed to steal the wealth of the people. And what we've done with blockchain technology is we've brought an ancient form of money, the oldest form of money, to the 21st century so that anybody can use it. And we just want to give people the option to either put their economic energy in real money, gold and silver, digitally or physically, or they can keep it in the system that was designed to steal their wealth. So
Yeah, I
sorry, that
think
was my little tangent there.
no, you're good. Soapboxes are tons of fun. But so I feel like there are a couple of interesting points there. One is the choice factor. So when you have the option to store your value in multiple places or diversify your portfolio, so to speak, you reduce the risk of one of those things going bottom up and you losing everything, right? It's your time, it's your energy, your economic energy. I really like that word that you chose for it. The economic energy, all of these activities that you're pouring into the world to create something are who you are as a person. And in order to survive in this particular game that we're playing, you have to have money in order to buy your groceries and pay for your house and survive and all that stuff. I wish it was a different way, but like storing your value in cash currently or in fiat dollars is kind of like one of the main ways that you have to do it because you got to be able to pay your taxes,
Yeah.
right? That's a different topic though. But yeah, so having multiple options is what expands our freedom, and I think that the freedom to store your energy in multiple forms is a very important piece. And I think that the blockchain enables that in a lot of really important ways by disintermediating and decensoring that whole aspect to make it so that you can do that now in a digital sense. Whereas before it was only bound to the physical world, now you have access to it in the digital world, which is where the world lives currently.
Yeah. And one of the things that people bring up is like, well, I don't want to buy gold and silver. Who takes it? Not a lot of people take it. You got gold back. They have over 3,600 merchants. And there's liquidity issues with just gold and silver, being able to sell it in time or selling enough gold backs to pay your bills if you're a merchant. If there isn't enough liquidity to get it.
Right.
But when you do it digitally, right, with like PhiPay.app, you can put your economic energy in digital gold and silver, and you can even swap it for fiat USDC, and then you can off ramp it or whatever. And that's what I love about blockchain technology. It makes gold and silver liquid. The cryptocurrency blockchain, the blockchain technology, the whole ecosystem is a very liquid market. Gold is probably the most liquid asset out there. I don't know a lot of people who won't take gold, right? There really hasn't been a lot of liquidity issues. We recently had a liquidity issue with silver where refineries couldn't get enough nitric acid to break down the silver to purify it. So they weren't taking silver, which made dealers weren't taking silver because they couldn't liquidate it.
Interesting.
But gold has never had that situation. Gold has the most liquid asset out there. So I think that's a great segue into your other company, which is PhiPay. You have it. This is a beta version. It should be live in just a few days. Tell us about PhiPay. What's the difference between Finance.Gold and PhiPay.app?
Yeah, so they're two separate systems. So the Finance.Gold system is more of a monetary system. So it's uh, the stable coin itself, the storage of the asset, the redemption process for getting getting your value out of it in the form of physical coins, and that requires its own political efforts as well as a bunch of other stuff. So having it be a separate thing was important because PhiPay.app, I see you're navigating through it. There's a lot of stuff I can show you. But in PhiPay, it is essentially trying to abstract away the complexity of dealing with a blockchain. So when I first, so 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, when we founded the company, I had made some prototypes with Finance.Gold to take that token that I had created on the testnet and have my partners go through the process of onboarding with the wallet, transferring funds from one person to another using that token. Well, it turns out that was a very long and tedious process, and people who are not super technical are going to find it very, very difficult. What the heck is a wallet? What are these random strings or characters that I see? They're all 0x1234. What is a mnemonic? What is a private key? What is gas? How do I interact with someone? How do I get this token to begin with? All of those things are barriers for entry and make it very difficult for the average person who's using like the Starbucks app or Google Pay or Apple Pay to be able to interact with a merchant. There's no way that we're going to get mainstream adoption with the current state of what is expected of a person to start up a wallet. That being said, there are some technologies that are emerging. Some, EIP 7702, I think it is
Mhm.
externally owned accounts can now act as like smart accounts. Huge.
Mhm.
That is a
Absolutely.
huge user experience improvement. And that was something that I jumped on right away, which is why I created PhiPay. I was like, these technologies now exist to make the user experience much more simplified. Gas abstraction, you have a paymaster involved, so the person who's transacting with the token doesn't even need to have the underlying gas token. Um, Logging in with your social accounts like Google and email and
Which
X,
I
and
did to create this account. I used my Gmail account to create a wallet and everything.
it takes less than 3 minutes to
Yeah.
have everything up and running and to transfer value between people. Really, really powerful tool. So by connecting things that people are already used to with this new technology, you've now created a bridge that is really important for the mainstream adoption of this revolutionary technology that people are aware of, but think it's only like Bitcoin and Doge. It's like
Yeah.
meme coins. Oh yeah, I invested in crypto. I bought 1,000 Doge the other day. I'm like, oh, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's not the same.
It's not the same. So that being said, PhiPay itself is a separate technology company whose purpose is to make the act of transacting with these tokens like Phi Gold, USDC, potentially expanding to many others as demand rises, connecting people to that, making payments very easy, and then connecting the honest money, what we're calling the honest money economy, where you can now spend those tokens with other merchants who accept those tokens. So uh, in this case, Phi Gold, which is a gold-backed real-world asset, or sorry, a gold-backed
Digital.
crypto.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
digital
we call it
asset. Thank
we
you.
call it asset-backed digital currency.
That's the word. I was looking for that word. Asset-backed digital currency. By having those be now very easily transactable, you open up an entire ecosystem that was previously not possible. So,
Yeah.
like, I guess the vision of PhiPay is eventually to have kind of like an all-in-one service where you can be a merchant, accept payments for products, and then also do peer-to-peer transactions and manage your finances that way. So you kind of essentially become your own bank. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be very important for people who have been debanked, and also countries that have limited access to banking, and also as an alternative to the system that we currently experience.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get it. I want before we get into your app and we do a little demo of how it all works. I
Mhm.
got this imaginary like devil's advocate in my head because I've talked to a lot of people who are anti like crypto and digital and everything. Is like Steven, well, what happens with your system? Like with FTX, they were centralized exchange. They went
Hi.
down. So Lunaterra, they were pretty much decentralized but centralized, and they went down. Like, what prevents your product, Phi Gold, from going down?
Yeah, well, so there are a couple of different elements to that, right? So our like underlying infrastructure is actually on the blockchain in the form of smart contracts. So even if our company went away, the smart contracts would continue to exist because the ledger is immutable. We can't just delete code.
Yeah, well, tell people what a smart contract is, because I know there's a lot of people in a lot of groups that I'm in, Discord groups that are huge gold advocates. They're very interested in learning about
Mm.
cryptocurrency, but they don't. They're just learning. They don't know what a smart contract is. So explain, you know, the immutability of the smart contract once it's launched.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I taught a whole course on this back in the day in 2017, and man, it's a really powerful thing. So you can kind of imagine smart contracts as being kind of like vending machines. So imagine that the whole world is that you have this imaginary world called the blockchain, and within the blockchain, you have these addresses where things can live. Um, in this particular situation, we're having vending machines that can live in this world. A vending machine is a self-contained dispenser of well, you take in inputs and it dispenses outputs. So you put in a coin, we'll call it gas because that's the operating token of this world. You put in your token, you type in the code that you want or the thing that you want from the vending machine.
Oreo
You press,
cookies.
yeah, you want some Oreo cookies, you press 1 2 3 4 enter, and Oreo cookies will start rolling out and they'll spit out at the bottom, and voila, you've traded your token for those things that you wanted. So smart contracts are essentially vending machines that live in the blockchain space. They have inputs and outputs. They live in that world, and because they're immutable, they're a part of that world now. You cannot move them. Their address will never change. Immutability is this concept that once it's put in place, it's read only. You can never modify it after the fact, which is what makes blockchain so important, is that nobody can modify that, barring a 51% attack, I know, but nobody can modify that after it's been put there. So auditability, traceability, verifiability, all of those aspects are just innate to being immutable, which is really cool.
So to break it down for people, when you put PhiPay, I'm guessing, or no, when you put the smart contract for Finance.Gold, which is your gold token backed by U.S. minted coin, when you
Mhm.
put the PhiPay system on, these are contracts that are immutable because
Mhm.
once you put it up, you have to be careful. You have to audit smart contracts because there'll be code in there where people can go in afterwards. But
100%.
you get an audit. What is it called? Certa something. There's a company that certifies the big one. Well, whatever. There's companies out there that certify and audit smart contracts to make sure there's no malicious code to steal people's money. But when you
Right.
do put a smart contract on there, that's it. You can't change it. You know, you send your USDC for Finance.Gold and you get your gold. And there's nothing. That's the decentralized nature of smart contracts and blockchain technology. You want to decentralize. That's why Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto disappeared.
Mhm.
Whoever he or they were, he created it, said bye, and just left Bitcoin to the world. And now the community comes together and they vote and they get the 51% and change rules or whatever and upload and so forth. And same thing with Polygon and all these different. They're decentralized blockchains with smart contracts, and you can do almost anything with a smart contract. You can create games, you can create financial systems, you can create chat bots. You can anything you want to create. You can create arbitrage loans, anything you want. And the limits are only your ability to code a smart contract. And now imagine that power of decentralized finance that nobody can control, the government or even the creators, with gold and silver. And that's what people, I think, in the physical space, they're worried about control. And sure, unless you're on a private chain or you have a private token, everything is public, right? It's pseudo anonymous because if I create, let's say, 100 different wallet addresses, and then I send my let's say Finance.Gold to a mixer. A mixer is basically a pool of everybody's money, and then I figure out how to send it to different contracts. Um, it's pseudo anonymous. They don't know who created those contracts. You use a VPN to hide the IPs, and then you can kind of transact privately, but the government's watching that pool, and they're keeping track of where all the funds go to. So it's pseudo anonymous, but they know somebody sent money to this mixer, and this mixer is hiding contracts. So unless you actually have a private chain and a private token, it's not really private. So that's the only thing with like the people who are really big on privacy they need to be concerned
Mhm.
about. But you don't have to be concerned about third party risk at that point. You don't need to be concerned about the creator or the government stealing your funds when you have a correctly audited smart contract that deals with digital gold and silver and has a system like PhiPay. So, with all that said, let's get into it.
Yeah. So like I was saying before, the major barrier for adoption for crypto has typically been that it's kind of you have to be a little bit more technically minded and a little bit less risk averse than the average person.
Yeah.
So, making this experience as seamless as possible is very, very important to me. so that my family can get involved and participate in this, what I think will be a digital value revolution. So what you're looking at right now is the login page. In order to get started, all you have to do is log in with one of your social credentials. You're acknowledging there that this is the test net, so don't send real money to it yet. You can continue with Google, you can continue with X, Discord, etc. In the live version, I'm going to limit it down to just emails to start with, so that we can kind of narrow in or focus in on the user experience. But it is possible to log in with any of these things. And as you just did, within a couple of seconds, a couple of button clicks, you're able to log in. And when you log in, it actually creates a true account for you. So that's your address that you've got there under your name tag. We support 2 tokens by default at the moment. You've got USDC, and then if you click on that USDC balance, you can see that PhiGold is also in there. So if you click up a little bit, yeah. So you can request some PhiGold for me if you'd like. I would say, yeah, you can request it in USD if you're not aware of like what the value actually translates to. There is an exchange rate. So at the moment in this iteration on the testnet, I've just set it to 70, but it's going to be directly tied to the spot price of gold. I'm not sure what time we're going to actually settle on, but we're going to say 10 a.m. every morning. So don't hold me to it, but like there will be a programmatically set exchange rate in the time. What you did right now is you created a payment link. You just sent it in the chat here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fulfill that payment. Am I able to share my screen?
Yeah, you just hit click on the present.
Okay, let me share screen.
Yeah, let me get out of here. Let me stop sharing my screen. And then if you click on present and share your screen, I'll see
Can
it.
you see
There
my
we go.
screen?
Yep, add the stage. And then let's do that. Boom.
Oh, I see your screen again.
Wait, is it? No. Oh, add the stage. Why is it? Because I got to remove mine. Hold on. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, so this is my logged in portfolio or profile. I'm going to go ahead and paste the link that you sent in the chat, which tells the USD amount, the accepted payments. This is for merchants primarily, and then the address that it's being sent to. So I'll go ahead and press enter. And this loads up with the payment details. So this, oops, let me go back. This will load up the payment details, the requested amount, the service fee, and the total amount. So this is something that in order to sponsor gas and be a business, we're charging, it's about a 1 or 2% fee. We're not sure what percentage is right just yet, so that's subject to change in the future. We'll probably start with 1% and see how the community likes that. And then so from my balance here, requested amount, service fee is 0.02, and then the total amount would be this. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm. I'm submitting the transaction, and then it says success. So now when I'm done here, go to the balances. You should see on your page now that your balance is updated.
Yeah, let me add it to the stage. All right, let me move this change here so it zooms in. Refresh. There it is. It's in my
There you go.
account. And then I can click on here to see the transaction, right?
Yep. So that's the blockchain receipt, we call it, because calling it the Polygon scan, Explorer doesn't make any sense to the average person.
So I want to explain this so people understand what are all these numbers they're saying. So this right here is like a transaction ID. When you send Venmo, you send a wire, they give you an ID. That's a transaction. This is it right there. This is how you find transactions. This is right here. The block means that when you send a ledger, think of a ledger as your monthly statements. So this number right here is saying that my transaction is on my monthly statement of this number, right? This is the how many seconds ago it happened, the day and time. It's all public information. This right here is his wallet address that had the Phinance.Gold and the USDC. It interacted with this smart contract that he deployed. We just had that smart contract conversation. It's basically a vending machine. He sent funds. The input is first I sent the input saying I'm requesting funds. His input was I'm sending funds, and it's all interacting within the programming of that contract. Then this is how it went. It went from this wallet address, or I'm guessing this is a smart contract. You have to worry the details. Oh yeah, went from this contract, this wallet address to this wallet address, and that's all that's saying. This is the gas fees. Don't worry about what GUI is, and the total transaction fee in Polygon, which is almost basically nothing.
Yeah, it's like
Hopefully,
less than a penny.
less than a penny. Hopefully that makes sense. You can rewind it. But yeah, it's saying that 1.02 Finance Gold was sent to my wallet address. See how it's highlighting everything? My wallet address is there, and there. His wallet address is just there. I'm guessing this is a smart contract.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is what this is. And for those who are like, well, how is everything public? This is how everything is public.
Right. Yeah,
And it
these
was
are all transaction receipts that are happening in the public ledger, and every entry is permanent. It will never go away. So you can audit it. You can export it for paying taxes. You can do all kinds of stuff with it, which is really important.
yeah. And don't
And
worry about this. Yeah. Go ahead. You want to explain it? Go ahead.
yeah, no, you're good. The other portions of here are a little bit more of the technical details, like what input data in an encoded format was submitted to the smart contract. Then you also have what the outputs were. But gas is really just the fuel for or that token that you put into the vending machine to make this thing run. So the input plus your token is what the smart contract vending machine receives, and then it spits out some Oreo cookies for you.
And here's some other things, right? This Polygon burns a certain amount of coins, right? So it decreases the
Total
total
supply. Yeah.
circulation supply. And then this is just showing how much you saved in transaction fees. Now this is 256 bits, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, so if I count it, I'm pretty sure there'll be 256 digits because it's 256-bit encryption. So this is just how things are secured. We don't need to get into that. That's just too much. And I get into the weeds, so let's not get into the weeds anymore.
No, that's
But the
great.
thing is,
I feel like as a viewer, I would want to know more about that too.
yeah, so 256-bit encryption is the same encryption that the federal government uses, most banks, most financial institutions, and this is essentially this is just the input data, but there's an encryption code sent to the smart contract, and then the blockchain, which in this case Polygon through its nodes quickly figures out this is the transaction that happened. We cracked that encryption. We're verifying it with a bunch of different nodes, all within a few seconds, like less than a second. And within a fraction of a second, all this is happening behind the scenes. It breaks the encryption, verifies the transaction that I sent the request. He sent me the Finance Gold, and then it gets added as a block. So once the transaction is verified, it gets added to the block, and the funds are released. In Polygon, that happens in a split second. On Bitcoin, that takes at least 10 minutes, up to 3 months.
Yeah, depending on how much of a tip you included in your little envelope transaction, somebody may get to it sooner or later.
Right. And there's the difference between proof of work and proof of stake. And that is completely different conversation for another time, because we can go down that rabbit hole, so let's get back to the fun part of a decentralized gold and silver payment system. What are the applications other than me asking you for money? Like, I have a business. How could I use this for my business?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you asked that. So if you go to products as a business owner, obviously you're selling something, you can create a product, and you can say, I want to accept only USDC or only Phi Gold or both, up at the top there for accepted payment methods. You provide a unique identifier for the code or for the product itself, give it a name. I've also created this idea of catalog tags, so that at some point, what I'd like to do is make it so that there's a point of sale system that hits an API endpoint for the products that somebody has, and then just displays all of the products according to catalogs. So you could create menus, you could create, point of sale systems that just have all the buttons categorized. So it makes it very easy for somebody who's selling products to accept these new forms. So if you go to create product, it's going to prompt you. To sign. So every product that you create has to have a digital signature. If somebody tries to spoof your digital signature code, what'll happen is it'll check against it'll decode the signature, and on our backend, we're checking to see if the decoded signature matches up with the originating code. And if it doesn't, then they'll know it's not an authentic code. So it'll actually fail before somebody gets the chance to pay.
So one thing I want to mention about the data right here,
Mm-hmm.
why are signatures important? So I talked about this briefly with my interview with Decaf Wallet. I'm going to touch on it again. So back in the 90s, they wanted to figure out how they could send money over the internet, but they didn't have the technology to actually guarantee that if I sent you $100, that I didn't have $100, right? It doesn't make any sense. It would be worthless transaction.
Yep, the
So
double spend problem.
it's the double spend problem, right? When I write an email, I'm not actually sending you my email. I'm sending you a copy of the email and I still have it. How do we prevent that from happening? Well, Satoshi Nakamoto used cryptography. Cryptography is at 256-bit encryption. He also put that over a signature. So when the smart contract, I send a transaction, it asks me, are you approving this transaction? I then sign it with a 256-bit encrypted signature that nobody else can get, and it just gets verified and sent. So and now I just signed it and verified the product. Now it's on the blockchain. This product is on the blockchain, right?
So the product itself is not on the blockchain, but the
Okay.
parameters that make up the identity of the product have been signed so that an interaction with the blockchain can be facilitated later. So when you click on this active product, you can make them active or inactive depending on your product. So you've basically created like a permanent payment code that has also encoded the details about the product and the merchant. So
Perfect.
who receives it, what the ID is for it, etc. So as a merchant, you could actually paste that code or like put that code as an image next, like maybe in a catalog somewhere, and somebody could go through and assign and add these products to their shopping cart, and then click pay for products, and then it would broadcast those things. It would broadcast that purchase event to our smart contract. And then we pick up on the smart contract events that we're listening to about purchases, and we make sure that they know that somebody ordered a product from them. So I can actually show you this right now. If you want to copy that product code, you can do that by scrolling down a little bit. There's a little copy product payment link. Yeah, the raw
Right
payment
here.
link. Yep, so you just send it the same way you did before. I'm also working on making it so that you can add the button to a website and have that just kind of happen under the hood. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen as well.
And by the way, I think I found a little bug. It's not accepting my price.
The zero. It's that's all display.
Oh, I
For
see.
some
There is
reason,
a
yeah,
price. It's just not displaying right now.
it's
Okay.
not in. Yeah, it's because it's only displaying the price in USDC at the moment. So like little bugs to work out. This is something I'm actively developing.
Before the 24th. So good luck.
Before the 24th. I know there's so
Lots of
much to do.
caffeine, man. Lots of caffeine.
Oh man, so much. Okay, so I think I've got the
Yep.
link.
There we go.
Let me copy the link, and if I paste the link here, you'll see that there are two payment methods that are available: USDC and PhiGold. The signature is in here along with a couple of other things. So if I press enter, it'll load up the payment details with my balance, the product, what it's called. I can view the item details here eventually one day. Let me pay with PhiGold. Okay, so you caught a bug. This is actively in development right now, but what would happen is you'd be able to see the details of the transaction, confirm the purchase, and then somebody would be able to get notified that something was purchased.
Okay,
So
perfect.
yeah, let me stop sharing my screen.
At the stage, fix that right there. All right, and then if that would have gone through, that order would have shown here with my SKU
Right,
number, purchase date, payment, and everything. And then
exactly.
my purchase is the same thing. If I would have bought something from you, they show up here. And a swap. A swap, basically, I can convert my USDC to 1000 USDC to 14 Phi Gold right now, based on the
Right. Well, so
75.
I have to mention that this is not based on the actual price of gold right now.
Right.
This is on the test net, and I've just kept it at $70 as an exchange rate per Phi gold. But this will be probably closer to around 100 based on today's and tomorrow's rates for actual spot price gold. But we'll be adjusting that daily. There is a calculation that's involved. It's basically just take the spot price of gold and divide it by 40, which is about a 25% cost over the spot price of gold. And the reason it's 25% is for a couple of reasons. One is we're vaulting the gold. One is we're paying for the gas. We're facilitating the transactions. And when you redeem it, you get that same amount. So you're really not losing anything. It's kind of like the argument that Goldback had when they were talking about like why they're the price of why is there a premium over spot price? And it's
Yeah.
utility, but it's also redeemable in that exact same amount.
Well, it's also because you're using 10th ounce and 1 ounce gold eagles, and a 10th
Exactly.
ounce is around 11, 12%
Yep.
premium, and then the 1 ounce is probably around a 5% premium. And
Yep.
you might get it as low as 2.5, 3%, but really depending on the vendor.
Yep.
So that makes sense, right? And you have to vault the gold and silver.
Hmm.
And I see this little button here coming
Yeah.
soon.
Five
I'm
bonds.
very intrigued about Phi bonds.
Yeah, so this is one of the mechanisms that we're working on right now to make it so that if there's not enough Phi gold in supply, you can essentially buy, you can pre-purchase that Phi gold in the form of maybe an NFT or something like that, and maybe get like a discounted rate of a couple percentage points for being willing to wait, 3 to 6 months for that new supply to come in.
I like
I
it.
don't anticipate it would take 3 to 6 months. I think we can actually get that down a lot more, but I think, um, we'll start off at a certain rate just to figure out where it's at.
I know a guy that knows a guy that can get you some stuff right away.
Yeah, yeah, awesome.
So, and then you just have your settings right here. So my
Yep.
display name, full name, contact, email. I'll have to list out later. I love it, man. And you're going live on, mind you, we recorded this before actually today's broadcast. So he actually has more time than 3 days, but we know that the actual product is launching in 3 days. So you got some great stuff, man. I'm looking forward to Finance being live. I'm definitely going to be a user of the platform. And I try to keep these talks to about 40 minutes, give or take. And I like giving the guest a few minutes at the end to share any last final thoughts. I thought, we talked before the broadcast about talking about Austrian economics. And we kind of did that earlier on, but I'll let you, share any final thoughts about your company, anything we've discussed, anything you want to share with the audience.
Yeah, I would say that there are kind of two main key pieces for this to be successful. This meaning blockchain adoption. The two parts are awareness and accessibility. A lot of people are aware of Bitcoin and Doge and crypto as like a way to launder money or buy drugs or something like that, but they're missing the point. So there's a lot of missing awareness about what the true benefits of using a blockchain are as opposed to traditional systems. Basically, anything that can be disintermediated or anything that has an expensive middleman, which is a lot of very profitable industries, can be disrupted by a technology like this. So um, it is very, very revolutionary. Very few people are actually aware of what it can do. And so I'm hoping that through projects like PhiPay Finance.Gold and probably potentially many others, that there are a lot of ways to demonstrate the true value that this type of infrastructure can bring to the real world. The second piece of this is accessibility. And I think that trying to get grandma to open a wallet and store a seed phrase and understand what she needs to send transactions using gas is it's way too much. And I think that some of the technology that exists right now just this year, I feel like have really made some excellent advances towards making like a Web 2.0 experience possible on the Web3 within the Web3 infrastructure. EIP 7702 with account abstraction is a huge one. And I think that my call to action would be I really want more developers to be putting out stuff that abstracts and improves the user experience. There's some really great companies out there that are doing that. But I would just say if this is something that you're interested in as a developer or as somebody who's technically minded or just wants to be involved in kind of like shaping the space, would love to have a conversation. So I'm glad that Citizens for Sound Money has taken interest in the project, and I'm really excited for the potential partnerships that opens up. And I hope that we get to see more of each other.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we're definitely going to have you back on after the launch. I want to get updates about how it went, what's going on, the other partnerships that you're bringing in. And we definitely want you to join the Sound Money Trade Association. I know that that Benjamin mentioned it to you, and we'll talk a little bit more after the interview and you bring in finance. I think we want to bring the whole industry together to represent the gold and silver and sound money, which has been severely underrepresented in government. But Steven, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll definitely have you on again.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Likewise. All right, everybody. Well, there you have it. Great interview. We're getting into the weeds here in Sound Money Matters, right? We're getting into physical gold, how to test for. You'll see. Actually, last week we had Silver Seeker on. We showed you how to find the price of gold, test gold, silver, the different tools to do that. We discussed with Decaf Wallet, different decentralized uses, and how to use DeFi, using a debit card, loading it with cryptocurrency, USDC, potentially gold and silver, and maybe there's a partnership possibility with Finance and Finance.Gold and Decaf. We'll see. Who knows? But you're all watching it, and thank you guys for coming. And as always, if you love what we're doing at Citizens for Sound Money, we ask you to join and become a Pioneer member. Go to Citizens for Sound Money members, become a member. We have 2 membership classes. We have the $25 membership, Pioneer membership, and $100 Pioneer membership. Both come with exclusive access to the Metal Markup app, which is the best bullion aggregator at better than fine bullion prices. And if you join the Pioneer membership, you will get a half digital ounce of silver from Kinesis. Maybe we might even get some Finance.Gold and some other partners who have some asset-backed digital currencies in the future for a membership. So go ahead and join. We will send you an email once you join the Pioneer 100 with instructions on how to redeem that. We'd have some people that haven't been able to see in the email, but keep an eye out that, look at your spam and so forth. And then also, if you want a 501c3 deduction, you can donate to Sound Money Movement. That's our education foundation. You can donate to our grants, our TV show, our curriculum development from pre-K to university level, and our Sound Money Academy to teach everybody about financial literacy and sound money principles. Lastly, if you are you on X, go ahead and follow us. Our X handle is, let me pull that up, is right there for Sound Money. Follow us on X for Sound Money. And if you are on YouTube, which almost everybody is, go ahead and follow us on for Sound Money as well. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching and being a faithful follower of the Sound Money Movement. Thank you for joining, those of you who did join as a Pioneer member. And we will see you next week. We'll see you on Tuesday with a live broadcast, and we'll see you next week on the next premiere. Thank you. God bless, and have a great weekend.